Town of Chester Town Board meeting. Linda, would you please do the roll call?
Supervisor Valentine,
Here.
Councilman Ardosana,
Here.
Councilman Courtney,
Here.
Councilman Holdridge,
Here.
Councilwoman Smith.
Here.
Okay, would everybody please rise for the pledge?
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so first item we have tonight would be a public hearing for the implementation of the wards in the town of Chester. Would somebody like to make a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make the motion to open up the public hearing for the ward system.
Do we have a
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, so we're going to open up the floor for
Person.
public comment. I believe we have a sign-in sheet back there for the public comment section. I guess we'll get everybody on the sheet first. They were the good kids, so we'll let them do it first.
Not many.
So first on the sheet, we have Joshua Koff, 1 Laura Drive, about boards. I'd like to step up to the podium, please.
Good evening, everybody, members of the council, members of the public, people watching at home. I'd like to thank you for holding this public hearing. For those of you who don't know, the ward system has been a long time coming. Brief history lesson, the wards were first passed by public referendum in 2018. And for context, that was the first election I came home from college to vote in. I now have my master's degree, so this has been some time coming. As you can see up on the projector, we have had proposed wards and new election districts sent to us by the county, and our town board, in its diligence, considered the map and did not accept that map for a variety of reasons that they have discussed in the past. And I respect those reasons. I understand the logic behind them. But I stand here to remind the board that certain considerations are legally and constitutionally required to be taken into consideration when drafting new wards and election districts. Specifically from the Supreme Court cases Westbury v. Sanders and Reynolds v. Sims, both in 1964, we are constitutionally obligated to make sure that all town ward districts are within a reasonable standard, equal in population. We're also required by the state to make sure that they are geographically connected, they are contiguous. And from my understanding of what members of the board who objected to the map presented by the county said during that meeting, some of the considerations that were made would make those two legal and constitutional requirements unobtainable. I understand the worry about splitting water districts, sewer districts, school districts, etc. But just with the way that the town is laid out and the way our population is spread throughout the town, it isn't feasible to draw a map that you might consider perfect. We need to take into considerations the legal and constitutional requirements while including the public comment from tonight in whatever we come up with. I do believe that it's important to keep certain areas of the town insulated and in a single district, for example, the situation in Surrey, or looking at an area like Sugarloaf. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure that all districts are contiguous and are within the population deviation as set, not by someone setting an arbitrary number, but by the Supreme Court of the United States. I have no further comment other than thank you for finally going ahead with the process of implementing a ward system that we've been waiting so long for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next on the list is Tom Becker, 163 Lehigh Ave. Hello, buddy. Hey, Tom.
I just want to touch on a couple points in regards to the wards. Now, the supervisor for the wards would be elected at large. And as the wards are laid out right now, Bob Courtney would actually be in ward number 1. Tony would be in ward number 2. Cindy would be in ward number 3. And Brandon would be in ward number 4. So representation right now would be the same whether we were at large or whether we were elected in the ward system. So that's not a concern for anybody, you know, in the public or for the board. The second part would be if there was an issue in the town where people wanted to vote and you had a district, either Surrey, Lake Hill Farms, Walton Lake Estates, theoretically, if they wanted to, without a ward system in place, they could put 3 people on a ballot. They could get all 3 possibly voted in if they get enough people out. By having 3 people on a board from one location, all somebody would have to do is make a motion at a meeting, have a second, and then take a vote. That group of people from that individual group would at that point control the board. And, you know, that's a positive thing in reference to having the ward system rather than the at-large voting that we have now. So that's just a consideration that, you know, just the points I'd like to make, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, next on the list, Susan Barron, Whispering Hills.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and the board for holding this public hearing regarding the ward system. I agree with Mr. Koff, who indicated that there are many people that are very happy to see this moving along. I do agree with the board that there should be a change made to keep Surrey Meadows within one ward, and I can absolutely see the need for that because it would be such a small part of Surrey that would end up into another ward. There is no legal requirement to have this broken down into water districts, or even if there's drainage districts, the sewer districts, we have no control over, so you couldn't break it down into sewer districts anyhow. But it is a long time coming, as you all know. We overwhelmingly approved this, as the previous speaker stated. And the county planning department has very ample ability to do these kind of maps and to draw these lines. I know personally because they have helped me in my job to do that, and they have helped other municipalities to help draw their ward lines as well. Actually, Blooming Grove is what I'll speak to because Walk Hill, City of Middletown, City of Newburgh, and City of Port Jervis have been done for years. So the initiative has now been taken, which has been put on hold for 2 years. So I'm just glad that the initiative was started and that everybody has started to work, hopefully, together on this. And I really appreciate the fact of having the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next on the list, Gina Ferreira.
Hi, thank you. I'm Gina Ferreira, Hambletonian Road in Chester. I actually have questions. Am I allowed to ask questions instead of make statements?
It's a public hearing, so you can ask us questions.
Okay.
I hope we can answer them
Okay, well, at least be on the record.
for you, but
So apparently it needs to be equal voting population in each of the districts. Oh, that's not true?
no, just,
Oh, I'm sorry. Census data, okay. Do we have like the background information on the populations in each of these areas?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, and that's something we are available to us?
Posted on
Okay.
our website.
Okay. And,
I just want to say, I don't think the ward map is up there. I think those are election district maps. because I
Yeah.
don't see any of the ward maps.
The second one on the right, that is the proposed, it's a draft map. So The 2 yellow districts would make up Ward 1. The 2 blue districts would make up Ward 2. 2 green would be 3, and then two red would be 4, for everybody's reference. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So then, so it's based on census data. So then each ward is supposed to be equally
Populated.
populated. Yeah. So what happens if a ward significantly increases or decreases in population? What happens with that?
So it's only strictly based on the census. So every 10 years, there's another census where, regardless of population increases or decreases between the 10 years of a census, that has nothing to do. The wards would not change until the next census is done.
Okay. And the last one was 2010. Is that correct?
No, 2020,
2020. So the next one would be 2030.
30. Yeah,
2030. Okay. All right. That was my question. Thank you.
no problem.
Okay, we have nobody else on the list. Who in the audience would like to speak? Raise your hand and we'll invite you up to the podium.
I do have a question.
Yep, please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the clerk, and
Hi, Susan Miller, Paradise Lane well, it's Warwick, Chester. I'm new to this, so I guess I'm curious as to what the advantages versus the disadvantages to this would be.
we really don't have an opinion on that for the public as the board, I would say, and I don't want to speak for all the board members, but it's been voted on, so we'll go through the process to implement the wards. But
Okay.
as far as, the pluses and minuses, that you would have to make that own decision based on your own,
And this
Research
will
on it.
come up for a vote.
no.
It
It
already
won't
voted
come up
on.
for a vote.
Yeah,
It was voted on in a referendum in 2018 by the town.
residents.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So our
So,
job is strictly to implement what the residents voted for at this point.
okay.
Mhm.
So there's no changes that are going to be made anyway.
Only to what the map will look like.
A little bit to the map, yes, but
Okay.
as far as, are we going to do this? No. Are we going to do it? There's no change in that. We are going to do it.
So the previous question about whether one area could experience, astronomical growth, and it's based on the census. So in 10 years, you could have a lot of growth,
Yeah.
so there's nothing that would change until the next census came
Right.
out.
Yes.
Okay,
If we have a map that's decided on this year, it would go into effect next year when we register it with the Board of Elections. The next change will happen in 2030 or 2031 when that map is, when that census data is available to us.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I believe that at that time, if they're off by 10% or more, they have to be redrawn.
Yes. So yeah, that's right.
Somebody else.
Hello, I'm Marion Holdridge. I just wanted to say something about what that lady was asking about. Was that last time when we went to the town hall meeting, the informational meeting,
Mhm.
that somebody had said, or you had said, that we could implement it and then immediately do a petition to get rid of it?
That would have to be a legal process, have to go through to make, if that were possible, then somebody would have to, get legal guidance on that to determine if it truly could be done.
So you don't think it could be done?
We haven't investigated it, or I haven't investigated it.
From what I have been told by members of the Board of Election and other entities is that once we have a map voted on and established, then members of the public may get another referendum together. They may get another petition in order to get a referendum on a ballot. That can happen after we have the wards established first, because you cannot abolish something that is not actually existing yet.
So how close, once it's established, how much time are we talking
Probably.
How do you mean?
to get rid of it? Once you establish it and get the map?
Well, you would have to get a petition together and in time to get on that year's ballot.
It
So-
would be on the next ballot type thing.
Yeah, so the next November.
You've got to get X amount of signatures and then.
Well, you
it's
could
got-
force a referendum on it, you know,
Yeah.
at a special election too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wouldn't have to go to the November.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Who's next? Public line?
Hi, my name is Robert Klein, 9 North Hudson Street in the village of Chester, down. The question is very specifically the timing of when the referendum, if it's established that one is going to be held, when will that referendum be? Meaning the vote
For-
by the public
Vote for what?
for the ward system.
To abolish
Based
it?
on the map that we see.
Oh, no. So this has already been voted on. The
Okay.
town board now has to decide what the map is going to look like. That doesn't go
Has
to,
the original, can you read the original vote that the voters voted on
I don't
last
have,
November?
I don't have that information in front of me.
2018.
It was
Can the
basically
town
to
clerk
establish.
read that to me?
I don't know if I'm gonna look for it, to see if I have it in this file, but it was basically to establish the ward system. It didn't speak to,
Did it specify that the town board would approve the ward system based
Shall
on the
ward
vote?
this is what was on the proposition. Shall a ward system be established for the election of councilmen and councilwomen in the town of Chester? That was the proposition.
Did it specify who would determine and
No,
who
but-
would approve that ward system once the voters
Not as a
decided?
proposition, but the town board adopted a local law that laid out how it was going to be determined.
In our local law, it states that the town board would define the boundaries of the wards.
Without any oversight from the public to make sure that the board is voting on the right map and the right boundary?
Well, I would assume it would be through professional services or, like we've chosen to reach out to the county on it for the specific, boundaries and descriptions. The county did descriptions on these boundaries. But, I mean, it wouldn't be the board itself that would draw the map or, we would approve a map that would be drawn by a professional or somebody competent to draw that map.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Okay, anybody else?
Over there at Michelle?
I have nothing.
Nobody at home?
No.
Nobody else in the audience? Going once?
Can I say more?
Sure. if you want.
Sorry.
You're only at 2 minutes and 39 seconds.
Okay, that's good,
Okay.
because that's all I need. So just to clarify, for those that may or may not know, and some of these things that can't be answered by the board, I would just like to clarify. When you break into wards, you elect council members from a council member from each of those wards, unless those specified, like in cities, some of them elect 2 per ward. But you elect council members per ward. So council members would be representing you in that particular area. And I'll use the red color. If there was a councilman that was elected from the red color, that councilman would be representing you, but they would then all sit together up here and work as a board like they are now. It would be no different than what happens now. They don't get to vote. They don't get any more points. None of that. But all of this is set by town law, which is set by the state. So that's how all of that is established. I just wanted to.
Okay. Thank you, Sue.
There's a hand.
Yes.
I'm Chris Mauer. I live on Creamery Pond Road in Sugarloaf. And I have a couple questions. One question is, what happens if nobody wants to run in your ward?
We don't know that. We don't know the answer to that.
Okay. And a comment. From speaking to a lot of people, I found that a lot of people didn't understand what the wards were when they voted on it. There was a lot of scaring going on. And I think that now that people understand that you're only voting for one person, you're not voting for the entire, you only have one person rather than four that you can vote on. Wards do work very well in a big city. I think we're too small. I remember 10 years ago, it was very difficult to even find anybody anywhere in Sugarloaf or Chester to run. And some people ran unopposed. I think this is a big mistake. And my next question is it possible to have a special referendum if we were to get a petition?
Yes, you could have a special election.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, did we spark any more questions?
The map that we've been given out, is this the map that was just approved by the board, or
This is a draft map.
this is the proposed map that
Yeah.
the board is approving?
Yes, it's different colors from the one up there on the right, but it's essentially the same map. This is just in more detail of the proposed map from the county that we are going to be changing.
Okay, public hearing's still open. Anybody else want to speak? Going once? Going twice? 3 times? Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for the wards.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I want to thank Megan for coming in the back there. I asked for her to come in case there was any questions we couldn't answer. Yeah, thank you, Megan. And I don't know if you wanted to say anything before we move on.
Did you want me to answer a couple of questions?
If you could, that'd be great. Step up to the podium. Give people as much information as they can possibly get.
All right.
This is Megan from the County Planning Department.
Good evening. I'm Megan Tennerman. I'm the Senior Land Use Planner for Orange County. I am also the County Demographic and Data Analyst, and about a million other hats. But I'm here to talk about this one. I know y'all can't really see the map that's on the screen, so I will refer you to the much better map anyway that is in the back of the room. Daniel makes much better maps than I do. Seriously, go to GIS. The ward system, the purpose of a ward system generally is to ensure equal-ish geographic representation. So if you have people from different neighborhoods, different areas that have different types of concerns, that would be the reason to adopt a ward system, just in general. The cons are that you are not able to vote for multiple representatives. In this case, if you go with the 4-ward system, you would vote for the ward representative and the town supervisor overall. The Supreme Court cases, and thank you for those references, that was really helpful, and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 that was passed by Congress have set the variant of a voting district. If you are in any sort of district that votes on any sort of thing, and there are multiple of these districts, the representation is to be as equal as possible. The idea is one person, one vote. But because that often is not possible in this case, in order to get absolutely equal representation, I would have had to slice people in half, and I'm not up for that. So what would be happening is that the accepted level of variation is plus or minus 5% from the mean. The exact statistical mean for 4 wards for the town of Chester is, according to your 2020 enumerated population, 3,161.5 people. So the wards that are put together on that screen, Ward 1, which is the kind of northeast half.
Tan and yellow.
Yes, the tan and yellow one, thank you. The northeast half of the village of Chester has an enumerated population of 3,210. Ward 2, which is the blue there, is 3,010. Ward 3 is 3,309, that's the green, and Ward 4 is 3,117. And believe it or not, all of those are within that 5% deviation. Pretty close on a couple of them, but they're in. That's basically it. Does the board have any questions?
I do. The main point of contention from the special meeting that we had on the wards last month, that it has to do with either population or geography, was the fact that Ward 3, the dark green election district of Ward 3 to be exact, kind of juts into Surrey Meadows up there with the tan section of Ward 1. That's something that we all see as something that we would like to change. How, in your opinion, would that how would that affect the map? How seriously of an issue would that make for the rest of the map? Can it be done?
You have no idea how much cursing I did for that particular boundary. That is difficult. I used your existing election districts precisely so that you wouldn't have to change as much, reliant on those district boundaries, whatever water districts, fire districts that exist that are tied to your election district boundaries. I wanted to keep those as intact as possible. And the only district that I had to split was Old Election District 5, which is that Surrey Meadows area. In order to preserve Surrey Meadows, I would probably have to cut off all of that portion of the dark green that goes into the pink there and rearrange the pink so that it goes into the blue. It's doable. It requires more time than what I had, and you would have to redraw your election districts. And if the other question is your water district boundaries, those would probably also have to be adjusted.
So right now, with this map that you drew for us, you already actually drew it with our special districts in mind. And with the change that we would have to make because of the Surrey Meadows portion, that would actually make the election districts, the special districts, a little bit more messed up with the wards.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
I can do it, but it's going to take months.
They weren't drawn. They weren't drawn with special districts.
As much as I could. I do not have the boundaries. I don't have the geographic boundaries of your water districts. If you can get me those, then I can design around that.
Well, I think that was why Surrey Meadows was part of the question, because that is a water district in of itself. And this particular area that is now part of Ward 3 seems to be misplaced.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that was really the only way to make that work numerically, and that was the primary concern. One person, one vote.
We have a question here.
I just wanted to ask you a little comment. So basically, with the ward system, each citizen of Chester is getting less representation on the town board because you're only allowed to vote for somebody in your ward. So you're only voting for one person out of What is, I'm sorry, you're getting a vote from the town supervisor, and you're getting a vote from one representative of your board. So it's basically less representation for you, and that's it, less representation.
I'm not here to comment on anything political, but the other way to look at that is that everyone has the opportunity to vote for supervisor, but having a ward representative that is concentrated on your specific area is actually, I would think, more representation. It means that, not all 5 of your representatives are coming from Surrey Meadows and spreading out or Sugarloaf or the village or what have you. And, I don't know, spreading out their water distribution on the entire town. Or
You just said that everybody that's up there right now is from different areas anyway.
oh yeah, that worked out.
Yeah, but it could change at any moment.
It could, absolutely. I have no idea where any of you live, by the way.
One more comment from Amanda.
And I understand that the consensus was used to figure out where the lines go.
The census data, yeah.
Party affiliation, is that taken into consideration?
I do not, I will not, and I should not ever have access to that data.
Okay.
Anyone have any other questions?
I'm good.
We're good. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Megan.
All right.
All right, thank you, Megan, for coming out here. All right, so I guess we get into the
Town board meeting.
regular items for the agenda for this evening. Thank you. First, yep.
Public hearing. Look, there we are. Oh, my.
All right, so
Wait,
now.
wait, you want to wait a few minutes while people clear, or you don't care?
All right,
Yes, I'm not gonna forget it.
we're going to go on with the public comment section of the meeting. This is related to other regular business.
First up.
We have first on the list Larry Dysinger, 46 Odyssey. Larry, welcome.
Good evening. Put my notes here. Okay. First on my list is it's that time of year again. I'm going to raise my concern about the noise ordinance. In April of 2022, I suggested changes to the town's noise ordinance, and I drafted a change. The board said they're not going to do that because the noise ordinance was only 1 year old. Did not agree with that, but I respect your decision. But I'd like to have the board, reconsider that again, changes to the noise ordinance. I think it's important to note that my recommended changes would bring the ordinance in line with section 10.7 of the comprehensive plan. Why the noise ordinance, when it was drafted, did not coincide with the comprehensive plan, which was adopted in 2015, is beyond my comprehension. The comprehensive plan states that a noise level threshold of 65 decibels between hours of 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. and 55 decibels between hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. And that's pretty much in line what I was recommending, the changes to the noise ordinance, but I want a little bit further than that by breaking it out by zone, because what may be applicable for industrial or commercial is not necessarily the case for residential. So I would like to recommend that the town revisit that, my recommended changes, and I'd be glad to resubmit those changes for the town council to consider. Next, last week I attended a webinar on conservation subdivision, put out by the state. I thought it was an excellent webinar. To me, the conservation subdivisions is basically cluster zoning 2.0. It does similar to cluster zoning, but the emphasis is on open spaces. Also consideration how you'd come up with a yield plan and that sort of thing. I think it's something the town should certainly consider, the replacement of what we have in our town code of cluster, and then change that to conservation subdivisions. In fact, the town of Warwick implemented that probably over 20 years ago. Mr. Fink, who's a consultant now, was one of the presenters at this webinar. In fact, was affiliated with Warwick for many years. And I think what they've done with those conservation subdivisions has been fantastic. I flew over a couple of them the other day, and it's amazing how much land was actually conserved by the implementation of this type of subdivision. So I'd really like to have the town, consider that. I know we're starting to look at the comprehensive plan as well, and that's probably a good time, for the town to consider that. Mr. Serrata, chairman of the planning board, had a great idea last meeting. You talked about Davidson Drive, making that a town road instead of a private road as it is. That was great that he came up to the board. I'm just curious the benefit of this would be for the people along Paradise Lane and Lake Station Road, that residential area, because projecting putting up a warehouse that borders that property, and as it is now, trucks would have to be forced to go on to Lake Station Road. So I think it'd be great if the town actively pursue making Davidson Drive, a public road. Just at some point, I'd like to have the town board get back to the residents on what they're doing about that.
There has been discussions with the two owners right now.
Mhm.
We're in discussions with them. They are talking between themselves as far as trying to come up with a plan, and it is moving forward. There is some movement on it.
Fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. Lastly, one of the items on the agenda tonight is the exemption for fire department emergency personnel. I fully support that. I think it's a good idea. Firemen, they dedicate their lives a lot to, serving the community. And I think, it's the least that we could do. The only thing I'd ask is that there be some criteria put in place. What I mean by that is they have to serve, a certain percent of the time. I belong to several organizations, and you always have 20% of the people do 80% of the work. And, someone is always there every week or twice a month or something like that, serving on the fire department or other. That's great. But, we all know that there are also members that rarely ever attend or do any share. And I don't think someone like that, while they may be a member, they're not an active member. And I don't think someone who's not an active member should get the exemption. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Eric. Okay, next on the list, we have Linda Siegel, 13 Laurie Lane.
Okay, I could just speak from here, can you all hear me? The public will be able to hear me up there.
That way you're on TV.
So, my name is Linda Siegel, and I live on Laurie Lane. And my question is not about the ward system. It's about concerns on driving on Route 17M. And I understand that's a state road, but it's impacting all of our local residents and others as we drive through tremendous potholes. And I was wondering what we can do to have an impact in having this addressed. To my knowledge, it seems every year They're fixing, but not really doing the job that needs to be done. Every year, it's
Maybe
another
we can- maybe
patch-up
we can
job.
Save you a little breath there.
Yes.
Because they're gonna resurface all of 17.
And when will that be? Do we have a date?
I think they're prepping it now.
They're doing it
Ah.
in the spring.
Fabulous, thank you. And
Yep.
thank you for all that you do for us.
You're welcome, thank you. Megan Tennerman. Megan already spoke, so we're taking, she's not here, okay. Jack
Jack, Rubino.
Urbino. Looks like Jack.
Okay.
Wilson Road, Jack from Wilson Road.
Okay.
That's you, Jack? Step up to the podium, please. Oh, you have nothing? Okay.
He was just signing in.
You sure you can't come up with something? Okay,
Didn't wanna
Tracy
say it.
Sue, Pickrell.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Tracy.
I just had a few things I wanted to say. I missed a couple of meetings. I also did attend the webinar that Larry, the first speaker, had spoken of, so I won't get into that. I did forward you all some thoughts on that with the link so that you could all watch it yourselves and get educated on what that was all about. I also wanted to thank you for sharing the Orange County Planning's take on March Madness with their free educational workshops on topics like protecting trees and wetlands and streams. Tonight, before I came here, one of them was, the topic was invasive species, and it was about the spotted lanternfly. And why is that important? This is quite overwhelming to many communities. It's here in Orange County. People don't realize that. And it's a large nuisance to homeowners for their backyards, but it's extremely harmful to grapevines and those growers. So they really need to be aware of it. And we all need to do our part to help identify, report them to the Department of Ag and Markets, and they'll try to manage the infestation. I mean, it's not going to be gotten rid of. I mean, it's started in Pennsylvania and it's traveled all the way to Michigan. So they are getting around mostly by people's cars. You know, we're spreading them.
Tracy,
But yep.
hasn't the DEC asked the public to basically kill anyone, any
Well, there's-
fly
there-
that's
Yes,
that they
and
see?
there's a process because it depends on which stage they're at too and how to do that. And people can't just go and chop the tree down. That's why the webinar was really helpful. I think it's really, and I wanted to send that to you guys when the links are available, something maybe you guys can have on Town Hall for anybody that's interested as that moves forward, as they become more apparent to people. So there's been a lot of talk about it, but people have, unless you've lived in those other areas where it's a mass, they're a swarm feeder, so they come by thousands. So they just wanted to, anyway, it was a very educational webinar and something that, since you don't have a conservation commission here, other communities do, and they have volunteers that help spread, environmental education like this. So it's important that we do what we can here to stay up to date. And to that end, today is World Water Day Awareness Day. And I see that later on your agenda, you have stormwater pollution. And I hope that means you considered adding more information on the town's website about that, as suggested in the Preservation Collective letter that I was sent based on the conversation at the last meeting on MS4. Not only is it helpful because you have to fulfill a public educational requirement, but it's also a personal responsibility that we all could use a reminder from time to time to take care of our little piece of the world and not to litter and pollute our streams and groundwater. And there's different ways to communicate that to the public, not just here at the meeting, but if you can have some kind of link. Particularly, it was horrible to hear, comments at the last meeting that our litter problem is getting worse. And also, then we also heard about how easy it was for someone to put a dye or a chemical in a nearby stream, and that could travel through all our tributaries through the county and get to the Hudson River. So there's unexpected and unimaginable things can happen. So I hope that by sharing the knowledge of the consequences of those actions, you may deter some of that behavior. So at least if you have something on your website where the people can call, and particularly a secondary contact, like the DEC emergency hotline. So on a Saturday or Sunday night, if there was a development project and it caused flooding, they know who to call. So that's why I just wanted to raise awareness to that. So I wanted to thank you for your attention to that. And I hope, littering is not just, it's just one of many topics that I hope get discussed here throughout the year to help us all keep our community clean, but also to find ways to help protect and conserve our vital resources and, you know, for sustainable Chester. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Okay, we have one last on the list here, Robert Klein.
Hi, again, my name is Robert Klein. I previously gave you my address. My public comment is regarding the law for the exemption for the volunteer personnel. Like the gentleman previously stated, the active members versus the non-active members. It is my hope that the board studies the law that's been passed in other towns to delineate who would qualify for the exemption. And it's not just a matter of just attending meetings, but it's also in the case of the firemen, how many calls they go to per year. So that's my comment. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Robert. Michelle, do we have anybody at home with any comments?
None whatsoever.
None right now. Is there anybody else in the room that would like to make any public comments? Seeing none, okay, we're going to close public comment section. Okay. Okay, so the first thing we have on the agenda is that very local law. Local law to update and amend Chapter 87, Article 6 of the Town Code. The Town of Chester authorized property tax exemption of volunteer firefighters and volunteer ambulance workers in accordance with New York State real property tax law. All the board members have received a copy of this in their box. Has everybody reviewed it? Just to quell some of the concerns about the active firefighters and all that stuff, we did get a list from the fire department, and they have a pretty strict requirement as far as who would be eligible for that. They have to meet a minimum amount of calls. They have to have, you know, a pretty active service record to qualify for that. So I'm sure we'll, you know, be implementing all that stuff into that, as well as what's written into this code. So, if somebody would like to make a motion to introduce this law, and then we could set a public hearing for it.
I'll make a motion to set a public hearing, introduce the exemption for volunteer personnel.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, so we need to set a public hearing date. What's the
Can we do it next meeting?
April 12th?
Yeah.
Time
In a
to
month's time?
allow
Okay.
20, what?
enough notification.
Yeah, so we can get enough notice out in 1 month. So
April 26th.
26th?
26th.
Okay, April 26th. It is. Somebody like to make a motion to hold a public hearing on April 26th for the
Motion.
second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay.
Okay, I received from the chief. We don't have to take any action on this at this time, but I just wanted to bring it up for discussion with the board. So, public consumption of cannabis from Chief Dollinger. Shortly after the state finalized the laws regarding the legalization of cannabis in 2021, I addressed the town board regarding concerns about potential complaints regarding consumption of cannabis in public places. As the first legal dispensaries have begun to open, this concern is closer to becoming a reality since people can now purchase and possess cannabis legally. The town already has Chapter 33 in the town code, which governs public consumption of alcoholic beverages on public highways and public parking lots or lands owned by the town. I respectfully request you to consider either amending this chapter to include cannabis or creating a new chapter with similar guidelines for cannabis consumption. As I discussed 2 years ago, the state law will basically allow consumption of cannabis anywhere that it's legal to smoke tobacco, which currently includes town roads, parking lots, parks, and playgrounds. Additionally, upon reviewing current Chapter 33 regarding alcoholic beverages, 33-4 refers to permissions granted by the Park and Rec Commission of the Town of Chester and the Village of Chester, which I believe has been abolished. Chapter 33 should be updated to correct this section also. Okay, so, I mean, we could say, would anybody like to make a motion to direct the town attorney to redraft Chapter 33 to include cannabis consumption and make the amendments recommended by the chief?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any other discussion from anybody on that? Okay, there being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Sugarloaf, okay, so we all thought it was a great idea to turn Sugarloaf into a nice historic district. Maybe get some funding and help improve things there, make things better for everybody. And actually, I think you could consider it a conservation effort as well to try to, keep Sugarloaf the way it is. So, we are applying for a grant for not engineering, consulting services from Neil Larson and Associates. We have to engage in a contract to do some of this stuff for the historic district. So this contract would be for historic district overview and request for eligibility determination submitted in the first 30 days in time to support a grant application to Preserve New York grant. A draft nomination form will be completed on or before August 31st, 2023. Projected presentation to the State Review Board at the December 2023 quarterly meeting, and the final submission will be completed once the nomination has received endorsement of the State Review Board. Each phase of this would involve a payment. The first payment I've already allocated through the town board budget for $2,000, which would be the eligibility determination phase 1. But we need to do startup meeting, review existing documents, documentation, photography. That will be $2,500. Invoice upon midway in phase 2, support by progress report $4,000. Invoice upon submission of draft nomination form phase 2, $5,000. So all total, what is this? 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, $13,500. So would somebody like to make a motion to approve Neil Larson and Associates for the historic district overview?
I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any other discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you to Lydia and the Sugarloaf Community Foundation for their work on that.
Yes.
It's going over very well.
Okay, next thing we have on the list is Nation Summer Camp. Where did that go? Okay, here's the tent. Okay, so as you know, we're going to be having summer camp this year, and we're going to be doing it outside like most of the other towns do, with the exception of some trips. With that being said, we were going to rent a tent for the campers. All the park departments rent tents for this. And the cost to rent the tent for 6-week program from Orange County Rentals is $6,000. It just so happens that we can buy the exact same tent from Orange County Rentals for $7,000. So
no brainer.
Again, and we would have it. We could use it for other events at different locations. I think it would be a great asset for the town to have. So Could we have a motion to expend $7,000 to purchase the tent? This would come out of the rec budget.
I'll make the motion to buy the tent for recreation for a cost of $7,000.
Okay, do we have a second?
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. All right. Okay, okay, we have to accept the minutes of the 3/8 board meeting. Do we have a motion to accept?
I'll
the
make the
minutes?
motion to accept the minutes for the 3/8 meeting.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay. Okay, Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center. We budgeted for a part-time, general maintenance, repair, everything person for the pack that would help fill a void. Our shows are being booked. A lot of shows are booked, and we need people to fill the void and the scheduling and everything else. So Walter at the PAC provided a job description. I mean, this is just a quick description he came up with. General maintenance and repairs of the theater, lawn maintenance, cover shows and events when needed, some snow removal, available to assist Park and Rec, and available to work flexible hours each week. This would be like a 20-hour part-time position. So we need to make a posting for this job.
Just a question, Bob.
Yep.
I know, I know we talked about this, I think last year, we actually were looking to do this. And it was try to alleviate some of the pure overtime that we're spending because we have so many shows that are booked.
Yep.
The public doesn't probably know when we have shows that are there, the venue most times does pay the overtime. But there are instances when we have stuff there that they just don't. So this would alleviate that. So
This
if you
could
alleviate,
help alleviate that, although I did budget, in the town budget, I budgeted, I think, 26,000 for overtime. But no, this could definitely help alleviate some of that. So, yeah, so would somebody like to make a motion to post for this position?
I'll make the motion to post for the part-time position at the PAC, Sugarloaf PAC.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. You can have that. Yeah. I don't know if that's, I mean, I guess that's a good overview. When we get the position together, we can work on it.
Yes.
Okay, it's okay for summer camp now. It's also another posting we have to do. Brandon and I were at a meeting today with Michelle and Walt and Kristen about the camp. And because we haven't had camp, we have lost our stream of counselors and different things. So we're hoping that it'll work out and we can get people to apply for the positions. But when you lose that continuity year over year and they go into other things, we would get the kids from the high school and they would stay right through camp, and then a new phase would come through, and it really worked out well. But one of the discussions was, I think Legoland was putting on looking for 1,500 people this spring. So, and so, yeah, they're really going to probably, rain on our parade, but hopefully we can get people who are interested in serving kids in the camp capacity. So we need to make a motion to post for 3 different positions: camp director, assistant camp director, and counselors. We already have the position of the nurse filled, right, Michelle?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
hey, Bob,
So,
do we want to take a look at I don't know what we're starting them at, but maybe we should find out what Legoland is starting their folks at, so this way we can be competitive, because we're going to hire for $3-4 less. We shouldn't even put the ad in the paper again.
So the question, Michelle, didn't you have some numbers
Yes.
from the other camps? Yeah.
Around $15.50 an hour for starting counselors and $16.50 an hour for a head counselor, which we would need 5 of.
Okay. And how about the director and assistant director
I
positions?
don't have those figures handy.
Okay, so maybe you could get those for us. We could approve the posting and then determine that.
Have to
We
put a
don't have to
rate.
put up the rate on
Yeah.
there yet. Yep.
You might
So,
want to keep that
yeah.
out. if you want.
So we'll do a little research on that though, so we could get some good numbers on it to entice people.
I have spoken with one other camp about what they pay for their director and their assistant director. We're right in line with them.
Okay,
I don't have, like I said, the exact figures.
okay, so email the board on that.
I
okay?
will.
Please. All right, so somebody make a motion to make the posting.
I'll make the motion to post for positions at the summer camp.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. You have that. Okay. Okay, Ethics Board appointment. I spoke to everybody on the phone. We've done some email back and forth. I did speak to pretty much everybody that was on our list that was already interviewed in this last year or so. And I have names of people who said they would still be a yes for the board. So that would be Audra Cox, David Stevenson, Steve Diffley, Joe Delaney, Tom Becker. They all agreed that they would still be available for the position. So is there anybody that would like to make a motion to appoint anyone out of this batch of well-qualified individuals?
I'll make a motion to appoint Tom Becker to the Ethics Board.
Okay, is there a second for that? I'll second it. Any discussion on the matter?
Do we choose from anybody else on?
It's up to, I'm leaving it up to the board to make the decision. So if this doesn't pass, then somebody would make a motion for another person.
I personally am very in favor of Tom Becker. He served the community very well, and he's unbiased, and he has a good head on his
Okay,
shoulders.
so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
No,
Paul?
no. I wanted somebody else.
So we had four and one.
All right, Tom, welcome aboard.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay, the contract for fireworks extravaganza, I don't have because it's an online contract. It's, electronically signed, but it's the same price as last year for the fireworks. The price did not go up. So would somebody like to make a motion?
Which
It's
is?
$19,000.
I'll make the motion to accept the contract for the fireworks extravaganza of
And
19,000
authorize the supervisor to sign it.
and authorize the supervisor to sign it.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
How much did that go up by?
It was 19,000 last year.
Oh, so it's the
Yeah,
same.
Same.
price.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, public assembly permit. Did you have it, Richard? I don't have any people.
Yeah, you know.
It's the same thing, yeah?
These are the dates.
Okay, yeah, that's what I need. Okay, so our good friend Richard Logothetis wants to provide some good quality entertainment in town again this year, and he's requesting a temporary public assembly permit for Sugarloaf Crossing Concert Series. The dates are Thursday, July 6th
Through.
to August 31st. Rain date September 7th, 2023. Audience arrives 5:30, concert starts 6:30 and end at 8:45. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve temporary public assembly permit?
I'll make the motion to accept, give Richard Lothez a temporary public assembly permit for summer concerts.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried, okay.
We will provide insurance.
Like always.
Okay, now next I have here is, oh, you know what, while I got this thing from Walter at the meeting earlier today. The band for the fireworks, it seems we were on the fireworks, is 1 cent above the procurement policy. So could somebody make a motion to approve the $2,500 payment for Omnipop for the outdoor entertainment at the fireworks block party show?
I'll make the motion to go over the 1 cent procurement policy for $2,500 for Omnipop band.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so now next thing we have is the 101 Great Court Solar Decommissioning Plan. I know there's been a lot of back and forth on that. Hopefully everybody on the board's been reading it or reviewing it. Because we do have to approve it. So I have the plan. The plan is the plan that we've had for a while now. This plan follows what's in our town code. Although some people may disagree with some of the values and stuff like that. They have been done by, two different engineers. Looks like the total, I'm just looking at this one here, 240,259.73. Right, decommissioning. So I don't have a problem with it based on the fact that in our town code, it says that the bond amount will be equal to 125% of the decommissioning cost, reclamation cost for the entire system. The full amount of financial security shall remain in full force and effect of the term and approval and/or until any necessary site restoration is completed to restore the site to condition comparable to that which existed prior to the issuance of original approval. The town may periodically review the financial security to determine that if any adjustments in the bond amount are required. Removal of the utility scale solar energy system must be completed in accordance with the decommissioning plan. If the utility scale solar energy system is not decommissioned after being considered abandoned, the municipality may remove the system and restore the property and impose a lien on the property owner to cover these costs incurred by the municipality. So I feel that that's a little bit of an insurance policy. And then we also have in 9843, it says the amount of the security does not fully cover such fees, costs, and expenses. The town cannot recover adequate proceeds of the security, then the owner or operator of the solar energy system and the property owner shall be jointly and severally and corporately and personally liable for the cost not recovered. In addition, the town may assess such costs against the property, which assessment shall constitute a lien on the property, in which amount may be collected in the same manner as real property taxes. So, I mean, that makes me a little more comfortable with the numbers. I think, maybe our numbers could be revisited at some point in time when we're doing that.
If I understood you right, we can up the bond if we had to, if it looks like there was.
I mean,
gonna
if
be-
something, something changes along the way where it makes a substantial difference, maybe recycling of those panels may go through the roof at some point in time. No pun intended. We could reassess that and increase that bond or request it. So, did what I read sound okay there, Town Attorney? It's good? Okay. So, would somebody like to make a motion to adopt the decommissioning agreement or approve the decommissioning agreement for?
I'll make the motion to adopt the decommissioning agreement for the Solar Great Court Road.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, go ahead.
Does any of those stipulations that were just read out loud by you cover any of the concerns that Larry Dysinger forwarded to
Well,
us?
Larry's concerns were values, I would say, for the most part, right, Larry?
The decommissioning plan, part of that, they did not remove any of the materials that were, demolished. All the panels and all the framework will be left on site.
Well, that's not what it says in this, what I just read. Has to be back to original. Our code says it has to be back to the original
The
condition.
decommissioning plan I saw,
Yeah.
and that was approved by the planning board,
Mhm.
it did not remove that, and the applicant acknowledged that.
We have every right and authority to have that stuff removed in the town code. So, would you agree with that, Scott? Yes. So, any other question on that, Brandon?
No.
No. Okay, so there's a motion and a second on the floor. Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Is this the It does say that, you know, the town has the right, but
Yes.
this one's on. So what was the change? You know?
You have one dated, signed by contractor tomorrow, the 8th.
Yeah, I don't have that, okay. That's the one that Bob has, right? No, I mean, I don't have an original. I don't even have one from that date.
That's the one that you signed.
Oh.
I'll reach out, have them deliver the original.
All right. Right, nice easy one here for us now. I want to have the board authorize the purchase of Dropbox software for the bookkeeper's office. They've been using like a free version and it's just not cutting the mustard, so I think it's only a couple $100.
Let's expand the storage
Yeah. So,
capacity.
yeah, so just authorization to allow the bookkeeper to purchase Dropbox software for her office.
Is there a price tag on
It's
that?
like
or-
$200.
I'll make the motion to purchase Dropbox software for the bookkeeper's office.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next. All right, next one. It's that time of year again, and the transfer tax bills at the Senate and the Assembly for the preservation tax, 3/4 point, are back up to go for a vote again. So I'd like the board to make a motion to make a resolution to support Assembly Bill A5585 and Senate Bill S.
Mr. Supervisor?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, those were last year's bills numbers.
Oh,
They've
these
been
are-
changed.
You have new ones?
Yes.
Oh, they know, okay.
The Senate bill from James Skoufis is S4751. 4751.
Yep.
And then the Assembly bill by Brian Mayer is A5211.
Okay, I stand corrected on the
No,
numbers.
That's my fault.
Resolution to support A5211 and you got it already, Linda? Okay. That's the transfer. The bill is to impose a transfer tax on real property in town of Chester.
I'd like to make the motion.
Okay, Brenda made the motion. We have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll prepare that and get it out. Okay, we need a motion to create a SWIP link on the town webpage. We could call it stormwater. We could call it, maybe stormwater might be a better name for it.
Yes.
People would understand that better. Stormwater prevention tab, right? So would somebody like to make a motion to have the town clerk create a link on the webpage for stormwater?
I'll make the motion for the town clerk to create a SWIP link on the town page, webpage.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, we have on here, the village water department, the Village of Chester, increased the water rates on out-of-corporation users. And our Fieldcrest Water District, our town water district, gets their water from the village as an out-of-corp user. So we're going to be deficient by a considerable amount of money when it comes time to pay the bill. Do you have the exact numbers with you in there? You gave me an email. I didn't bring the email. Oh, wait, maybe I did. I'm sorry. I do have that. I do have it. Okay, yeah, here we go. I have it. Okay. So the village increased their out-of-corp user water rates on 6/1/22 to $10 per 1,000 gallons of water on use of water over 1 million gallons. Currently, the Fieldcrest Water District residents pay $7.50 per 1,000 gallons with an average consumption of 2,200,000 gallons annually. So the shortfall in user charges may exceed $5,000. So would we like to consider a rate increase? I guess we would just consider an increase that would put us on par with the increase from the village.
Correct.
So if they're paying $7.50, we'd have to up our rate to $10,
$2.50.
$2.50. So would somebody like to make a motion to increase the Fieldcrest Water District rates to $10 per 1,000 gallons?
I'll make the motion to increase the Fieldcrest water rates to $10 per 1,000 gallons.
Okay, do we have a second on that?
I'll second.
Well, the other costs are picked up, that's on the tax side of the bill. So it's a double.
So the building's all taxed.
Yeah, everybody's taxed proportionally for that district on top of that. So yeah, that makes the difference.
Can that be effective October 1st? So we will afford a 6-month notice. We'll send it out with this month's bills.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, October 1st.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have a motion?
I made-
Second?
Yeah, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Sorry about that, Fieldcrest residents, but we don't have much control over that. Okay, Brandon, you asked me if we could create a special reserve account, and I don't see why we can't. We created one for the playground at the PAC. I did tell you thought we could maybe use the Parkland Fund and just deposit there, but that won't work. Because a donation has to go into our donation account, an A fund, unless it's a special reserve. So would somebody like to make a motion to create what would be called the number 230 in the budget, special reserve account for Chester Commons field improvements?
I'd like to make the motion.
Did that fast, man. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So this is basically just for everybody's information to allow for members of the public, businesses, establishments, vendors, to donate towards our project to fix the Chester Commons fields. We are on our way to getting that done, but any help from the public would be greatly appreciated, and especially for the children. Thank you.
Okay. All right. That's all of our regular stuff on the agenda. We're up to I have some education requests. So I have here first, I have from the bookkeeper for the finance side of the building, I guess you'd call it there. From the bookkeeper, I respectfully request permission to attend the annual town finance school offered by New York State Comptroller and Association of Towns on May 15th and 16th, 2023. The cost of the school is $200. Hotel accommodation is at the Albany Marriott. The location of the conference, the cost is $114 per night. So the total cost would be $428 per person. We're requesting that Tanya, Julie, and Nicole go to that training. Would somebody like to make a motion to send?
I'll make the motion to send them to the training, Tanya, Julie, and Nicole to training for
Yes.
bookkeeping.
Yes. Julie will be returning. She told me she would return. She would only do one day, and she'll be returning for pay. She has to do payroll.
Okay.
So, okay. Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, I have one from Melissa, zoning and planning. Each zoning board of appeals member needs 4 hours of coursework annually to retain their appointment in the zoning board of appeals. Greg Fiegelson has asked for the following member to be sent to training: Orange County Municipal Planning Federation, March 30th, 2023. It's $15. In-person training seminar, 2 hours of credit. Who will be going? Chief Dan Dollinger, and as the zoning board of appeals member. Do we have a motion to send Dan to the training?
I'll make the motion to send Dan Dollinger to the training for zoning board of appeals.
do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carried. Okay, second one we have is from Don Sirota, Planning Board Chairman. Each planning board member needs 4 hours of coursework annually to retain their appointment to the planning board. Don Sirota has asked for the following member to be sent to training. It's March 30th, 2023, $15, same 2-hour credit. Larry Dysinger, planning board member. We have a motion to send Larry to the training.
I'll make the motion to send Larry to training for the planning board.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, I have another one from the clerk's office. I respectfully request permission for Deputy Schmid to attend the New York State and NY Town Clerks Association annual meeting on April 23rd through 25th, 2023 in Syracuse, New York. Cost up to $543, includes conference and hotel. All or a portion of this fee may be offset by scholarship pending award. Please see attached details for program offerings from New York State Comptrollers, New York State Department of Health, New York State Archives, New York State Assessors Association, New York State Health, whatever. Oh, there's all these things. Yeah.
That's the retirement system.
Retirement system,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Thank you.
There's a lot.
Okay, would somebody,
I'll make the motion to
okay.
send Heidi Schmidt to training.
okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Where's this one? This is not that, it's not that. Okay, you have any other education requests, Linda?
No.
No? Nothing? Okay. All right, so we're up to, I do want to go into executive session with the attorney quickly to just go over a personnel, attorney-client personnel matter. Somebody like to make a motion to go to executive session?
I'll make the motion to go to an executive session.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
How long does it take for that 2-year study?
I'm gonna head to the restroom.
Okay.
Wait, what's that?
Oh, wait.
How long does it take for that
like lost it.
Been a long day.
Yeah.
Do we have to do anything about that, or we just, we're not gonna do it?
No, we don't have to do anything on that yet. We're gonna put it off right now while we're going through that process. It's budgeted, but we'll wait on it.
We'll wait on it, maybe.
Okay.
So
How are
what's
we, Michelle?
talking?
Good? Okay. So I'm gonna make a motion to come out of executive session, please.
I'll make the motion, come out of executive session.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're back. Okay, do we have any announcements? Okay, 30th Annual Chester Historical Society Yard Sale, 8:30 to 1, Saturday, May 20th, 2023, at the Erie Station, Winkler Place. Always have all kinds of good stuff there. We're friends at Transco again. So Transco, that's the power line project that's going on in Sugarloaf and from Sugarloaf to Rock Tavern. One of the big things here that everybody should know is that they're going to be using helicopters for stringing wires on the monopoles they've been putting up. And they're going to be flying low and pulling ropes on the structures and lines, utilizing ground-based wire pulling equipment and pulling wires. So helicopter work will begin March 6th and support wire stringing. So I don't know if we've seen any here yet, but
Nope, haven't seen
it's a
it.
long trip. I see it all the way up to all the way up. It's
They
all over
just
the
got-
place. So,
They got equipment all over.
yep.
This is the bad ones.
So yeah, Pep Boys, I guess it's regretful to necessary with accordance with section 921.23, the Worker Adjustment Retaining Act. So Pep Boys, IEH Auto Parts, DBA Auto Plus intends to close its distribution center located on 29 Elizabeth Drive
Oh,
on
really?
or about June 16th, 2023. We anticipate that this planned action will result in an employee loss of 35 employees and can constitute a plant closure under New York State Warn and Warn Act.
Oh, they're closing the whole plant now?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
They just slowly started laying people off.
Attached is Exhibit A is a list of names, addresses, and job titles of the employees who are currently expected to be eliminated and separated from employment at the time of closure. All of the required notices were sent via email and United States Postal Service on March 15th. Everybody's name.
Wow.
So,
Can I see that? I didn't get it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, Auto Plus, I didn't, yeah, okay. Yeah, I got it. I'll have to rewrite it.
I mean, everyone has to sign it, that's the problem. You've got planning board.
we couldn't find this yesterday. Oh, today. Oh, yeah, after I left.
Oh,
Okay.
maybe you weren't here most of the time.
All right, I'll do this now. Okay.
I have an announcement.
Town board comments.
First, I had an announcement.
We got an announcement? Go ahead.
Yeah, and then I wanted Todd to be able to do his report so he can get out of here. Yeah, just another announcement. Part 2 of Professor Richard Hull's talk on Sugarloaf, the history of Sugarloaf, is happening on April 3rd at 7 p.m. at the Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center. That's being done in conjunction with the Chester Historical Society and the Orange County Land Trust. So if anybody's interested, make sure you get out there.
When is the Easter egg hunt? PBA? April 1st, 10 o'clock. That's not
And
too
then
far
there's
away.
a magic show.
All right, well, I'll give out the Fusco report too while we're here. Biweekly report, Chester Green SWIP working well. Reports reviewed weekly, reviewing off-site water complaint. Capelli Sports reviewing SWIP reports, stormwater systems are adequate. Surrey Meadows Sewer System Grant, did cost estimating, awaiting for funding to continue with in-depth engineering report. Walton Lake Pump House, meeting with Chris from Water Department to review, working on water district expansion, that's for Sugarloaf, as required. MS4 report in progress. What's that? All right, comments. Tony, what do you have down there?
Not much. There's still a lot of questions about the ward system I keep on getting asked, and I wonder if that the 2018 vote, where people really knew what they were voting, or was it forced on them, or what happened there? There's still no answer, but we still got to go through it.
Yes, we do. Bob, what do you have?
Just follow up. I followed up with Assemblyman Marr about the trash on 17. He said to me probably beginning of April, DOT will start cleaning that up. But I said to him, it seems like it's only from Chester right to Goshen. But the other day I was on the back road towards the landfill, and it looks like it's just all through there. So I did call him back and say maybe he's got to look at some of these trucks that are doing the hauling, because it looks like there might be a pattern there as to why that stuff is all over the place. And then also I was on the webinar tonight for CDBG. I think Brandon, you were on there too.
Yep.
Too, right? So I'll forward to everyone. I have the slides from it, so I'll forward that over to everyone. That's all I have.
Okay, Cindy?
Well, the dog park fence is going to be installed Thursday, Friday. We're going forward with that. Bob, you've got it pretty much
It's all
leveled.
graded up.
It's all graded up, level to go. I'm working with, we'll try with Parks Department to grade it off, unless you come up with somebody who's going to help grade it off to plant the seed. And Richard Lotus has got the benches and seed, so we're just going to keep that moving right along. And I'll get the straw to put on, for the grass seed. Okay. Okay. And just on a side note here, the payphone outside is going to be removed.
Oh, disconnected.
It's going to be removed. If
End of
anybody
an era. End of an
if
era.
anybody wants an antique, maybe they get in touch with Frontier
If
to
you want to
get
make
it.
a call on one,
Yep.
you only got moments left.
Yep. No, it costs quite a bit to have that there. It's like, what, wasn't it like $600 or something to have? Huh?
Downstairs too, outside.
Oh, well, they said, our payphone, preference.
That's probably the one.
That's
man.
probably the one.
Well, no, they got the one out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's quite costly to keep them.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
and that's it.
All right. Yeah, we've made good use of a lot of the wood chips from all the spring tree
Chip.
trimming that they chipped up. We used all that at the dog park for erosion control.
Right.
So that's all around the whole fence perimeter area, nice and thick. So we
It's
shouldn't have to
moving.
worry about stormwater runoff.
Yep, we're moving forward.
Hey, Brandon, what do you have?
Yeah, just quick update on the Chester Commons situation. We have been doing a lot of work to try to get something together for that. I believe we discussed it previously. We're going to try to fix the field to the right, the practice field first, and we are trying to get a community day together for April 16th. That is tentative, but I believe that is going to be the day. There's more details to come on that, but April 16th is the day where we're going to ask for people to come out and help level it out, rake and shovel and all that. I think it's going to be a good day, good community day for everybody to come together and try to fix it. The Route 94 study that we did last year, if everybody remembers that, traffic study for the, we had a couple comments about the speed on there. I did get confirmation from state DOT that it's been completed, and they have decided to reduce the speed by 5 miles per hour instead of 10 miles per hour. I think it's something, and I think it's improvement. So I'm very happy about that. I hope the residents along that road is happy as well. Hopefully we see, I don't think there has been anything recently, unless I'm mistaken, but I hope to see a reduce in accidents and near misses and all that. Because of that. It should be happening sometime during the next couple months. I believe they have a long list of things their residency needs to do. So it's going to take a little bit, but it should be happening soon. relatively soon. Also with signs, Wind Ridge community over on the Monroe side of town asked for 2 more speed limit signs in their community. I had a conversation with one of their community board members, and John Riley was kind enough to get those out there, and I believe that was done today. So I wanted to thank John, and I want to let the members of the community know that that was all handled. So that's good. And then finally, I got a few more additional comments about the TV channel. Is there any thing happening with that recently?
No.
No.
I believe maybe Michelle can speak to it better than I, but it was abandoned years ago. and
Right.
I don't think the equipment that we have is,
Wasn't he ordering the
it
equipment?
was obsolete, so I don't know.
The equipment that's downstairs is not, it's so old, you can't even get parts for it.
Mhm.
So we've been searching around, we did find a sole source provider who will totally bring us into 2023 and beyond. We have a presentation that we're ready to present to the board at the next meeting.
Oh.
Is there a cost?
There is a cost, and we'll go over everything, everybody will have that prior to the meeting.
Thank you, Michelle. That's it from me.
All right.
That's
So with that being said, somebody want to make a motion to close the meeting?
I'll make the motion to close the meeting.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.